Hey guys, I'm back from seeing The Legend of Chun-Li, and I have to say, the movie was not that bad. It was actually quite entertaining. And like I had hoped, it was actually something to look at, and not disappointing like The Matrix Revolutions. It had a plot, a main problem, and at the end they solved the problem. It was actually just a basically good run-through is what it was. Now I will say this, you will not enjoy this movie as much as someone who is already familiar with the Street Fighter universe. I would know. I brought a friend as a control who had never seen or heard of Street Fighter, who later that night was no longer my friend, to see it with me. And she rates the movie out of a possible 10, 10 being the best, a 5, which looks like this. Now here's my opinion as a fanboy of the video games in the series, except that one. The beginning of the movie starts off how one would suspect, with Chun-Li as a little girl. It shows in necessary detail how her history with Bison affected the rest of her life. After getting to know the characters a little bit, the movie immediately kicks off with some of the best close-range action fight sequences I've seen in a movie in a while. And there was at no time where they did that type of fighting where the camera angle is constantly changing after every attack is thrown and the view is too close. So good job on that. When Michael Duncan makes an appearance, you know something's about to go down. Like I said before in my pre-review, he makes the part his. There is no better guy to play him. He did an awesome job. Look out, Green Mile. Also, when Neil McDonough shows up, he instantly seems like a really good choice for Bison. As the story progresses, you enjoy his sense of tyranny. I mean, evil characters are just fun, and Neil McDonough walking around with an extra few pounds and a perfect walk like he's a god is just a way that makes him fun to watch. He's like Hades from the Hercules movie. He's evil in a comical way. How do I come to that conclusion? Well, he won't hurt a little girl, but he would use a woman like a punching bag. Whether that's literally or figuratively, you're just gonna have to see it for yourself to know what I'm talking about. This may not come so much as a surprise because the character Vega is just Bison's henchman. He didn't really have that much screen time, and I would have liked to seen him more involved in the story. Oh, and the bastard has black hair. Where the hell in any of the games, shows, or movies does Vega have black hair? I said either blonde or brown hair is what we know the most. Come on, at least give us that. I mean, when I saw this in the theater, I literally shouted at the screen, "Why does he have black hair?" The mask they used didn't really seem important because it looked like a cheap forgery of the one they were using all the time in the games. But hey, the claws were right on spot. He slung those things around like they were a friggin' rope. He had good coordination. It was overall pretty damn sweet. I think Vega was on the screen for about 5 minutes, and if it wasn't for some Cuban bastard, TT30, Officer R, calling me on my date, I probably would have seen this move he was about to try and pull off, but I missed it digging in my pocket for my phone. Oh, and get this. I know this is a little off subject, but I am a huge fan of the Mortal Kombat films. I saw Annihilation so many times that I actually know the entire script by heart. Don't believe me? Father, the annihilation has begun. Earth is under attack, and it is glorious! Tell me, did you make Raiden beg for his life before destroying him? Unnecessary dramatic flip. Evil smirk. Raiden is of no concern to us. Unnecessarily dramatic glide across the room. You let him live? He cannot be stopped. I have no use for excuses. I have broken the sacred rules to keep the portals open. If the elder gods find of our plans... Okay, I'll just stop right there. Cause, you know the dude who played Liu Kang in the Mortal Kombat films? He plays someone you did not expect to see in this movie because he is from the Street Fighter Alpha series. He is Gen. Liu Kang as Gen. Damn, he looks old, but that's just friggin' sweet. Well, his purpose is to teach Chun-Li how to find her inner strength and learn new techniques to help her in her future battles. And let me tell you, Chun-Li really knows how to use a rope. You'll see what I mean. Now, I'll be honest, Kristen Krug actually represents Chun-Li quite well, But at the beginning of the movie, you almost forget that she is playing Chun-Li. It's like you're watching Kristen Krug getting lost in a city of old ladies giving away egg rolls. Perhaps by this moment in the movie, I had seen too much Smallville, but for the rest of the movie, I accepted her as the new character she claimed to be playing, and just totally forgot about the wide childbearing hips of doom. Though I must say, she can work them hips in the club. And speaking of the club, the music in this movie was solid. There were a couple of scenes where the soundtrack sounded like something from Halo 3. And when the movie introduces you to the club scene, the music that was playing had me excited for what was about to happen next, which was pretty sweet. The overall background music given at any particular moment was right on cue and fitted perfectly with the scene at hand, which kept you into the story and the action. Charlie Nash makes an appearance in the movie, but they didn't even try to make him look like what he looks like in the game, and that's pretty much all I got to say about him. Also, I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, but Bison does something at the end of the movie that is so mind-raping that the whole universe should have just collapsed on itself as soon as it happened. It makes virtually no sense to what we know as Street Fighter, but perhaps it happens to be that way because the movie wants us to know that there's more to Bison than we first thought. Now, I just want to say that people might be calling this movie bad or good without first looking at what the purpose of the movie was. And this is because one might be looking for things in a movie that don't even exist in the movie's type. This is a movie about the legend of Chun-Li. It is not called Street Fighter from the perspective of Chun-Li as she goes to a tournament and fights a bunch of familiar characters that fans of Street Fighter may be happy with mindless kick-ass violence along with Ryu and Ken, who also happen to be around. In my opinion, this movie did exactly what it was supposed to do. It was supposed to introduce you to the earliest years of Chun-Li's life, establish the characters who were directly involved, and from there, tell you how those characters and situations answer the questions from Street Fighter that we all know and love today. I give this movie an 8.5 out of 10. Or in other words, 8.5 wide childbearing hips of doom out of 10. Yeah.
And now, an important message to people who have already seen the movie.
If anyone at all knows what the name of the song was in the club where Chun-Li's shaking what her mama gave her, or at least if you remember some of the lyrics, please leave it in a comment. Me and this guy on Yahoo Answers desperately want to know, because all I can remember from that song is blocka 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 blocka, and that's it, because I really want to know that song and it was really tight. So go ahead and do that. Thank you. Blocka.